Hello everyone, as promised, I will give you now the topic how to raise strong children in this short PowerPoint presentation. As you all know, we had to cancel our talk in Delhi, which was really a pity, but after so many people started to speak about the coronavirus, we made it a call to really not gather people together in a crowd as long as it's not clear what and how it will be. So still, I do not want anyone who is interested in this knowledge to miss out on it, and so this is why I prepared this presentation for you, where you now can see, as we would have presented in a talk, the PowerPoint presentation, but also you can have the text to it. Okay, I would like to start with a little bit on the part of education. So we prepared this talk for teachers and for parents, and so this is also how I will address you here. So normally when we think about the world of today, we think about certain things we have to deal with, and these things we have to deal with, that seems to be that we have to deal with a weak economy or financial crisis. So every parent and also the teachers in the schools are really eager from day one to prepare children to be able to deal with crisis. But in regard to that, it's more like preparing them really for a good job. So there is this idea that when you have a good job, you will be able to make money, or you will be able to have a job at all times. So one of the famous jobs at the present moment is engineering, it's doctor, there are always doctors needed, there's always engineering needed. So this is the idea, and so this is why many parents put their children through school, an intensely tutorial complemented school system, which means that schools rarely can give children a knowledge without parents having to pay for tutorials. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of pressure on children because of this, knowing that there is a weak economy and maybe in the future there's a financial crisis. So to protect one's child from really suffering in that crisis, all parents want, and teachers are focusing on getting children to become the best in the market, not the best of themselves, but the best in the market. The second part is also that we are facing serious health problems. So this is why professions which are related to medical professions or to pharmacy are at the present moment seen as a very, very good future part, in the same way as we have the part on technology, which is mainly faced by IT. So the fast development of this technology also makes parents believe that it is good to put the children into an area where there is technology development, app development, computer programming, all of that. So doctors, lawyers, and IT experts seem to be the future markets, and so this is why parents who want to do the best for the children try to put the children really in such an environment that they study on these topics and then become professionals. Then we also, as we are at the moment facing the coronavirus, it's something that we can come along all over the time. 10-12 years we have SARS, we have coronavirus. It seems there are undetectable diseases which we cannot control. So also when you are in a good job, when you have lots of money, you can pay more for your medical security, and you can create life insurances, all kind of things which can protect you. So that also makes parents to feel and believe that it's really important to help children to go in a certain direction. So all of these situations that we are facing today make us think that we have to prepare our children for such a world. And so now the question is, if this is the world of today, will it be the world of in 20 years? Look back 20 years. Has the world 20 years ago been a replica of the world of today? Can we really say that what happens today will help our children to be safe in the future? I want you to think about that, all parents and teachers, because there's so much pressure, so much focus, and so much competition on trying to prepare a world for the children for the future, which at the end of the day, I have to tell you, is unknown even to us, so we cannot really prepare them. So what we're really dealing with today, this is what we have to focus on. So what are we really dealing with today? So let's see the some points that we see today. So we can only take care of today. For example, today we have highly intelligent young people with very low emotional intelligence. That is very interesting, isn't it? So students or young people are very intelligent, very smart, but the question is, are they wise? So what is happening on the emotional skill development and the social skill development level? So those are areas that we have to look. What we also can see all over the world, the classrooms are filled up with at least 10 to 20% of children which have either a diagnosis in ADD, have a diagnosis in autism, or any other behavioral disorder, or any dyslexia, or any other disorder which actually causes a teacher to have a difficulty to really follow the lesson plans and get the topics which they should cover through. And so this is also something we are facing. Neither parents nor teachers are really prepared for such a time and know what to do. So there's also too much information. Too much information is too much, as said here already. This too much information leads to distorted information and also to kind of really a different situation for all of us. So while focusing on what may come in 20 years, we actually miss out on facing issues that we have today and dealing with the issues of today to really set a basis for our children to develop emotionally, socially, and intellectually balanced. What will prepare them for the future? So this is one of my major points that I would like to make here. Whatever you are facing as a parent, as a teacher, if it's in the early years, if it's in the very first years of preschool, nursery, KG, kindergarten, or primary school, or even at the latest years in the higher grades, grade 8, 9, 10, 11, it's always the question of what are you focusing today and what can you do so to change that present situation and create something that sustains for the future and helps children. So this will be focusing a little later. So what is the outcome of this? It's really interesting. We have to see. We have a lot of confused parents. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions from parents who ask, what shall I do? I never had so many parents in this more than 20 years that I am in the field of education being confused, so insecure, not knowing what to do. And one of the reasons that I think this is the case is because whenever you put the question into Google and you say, dear Google, please tell me, what shall I do? What about how to build resilience in my child, for example? This is exactly what this talk is about, how to grow and raise strong children. Then you get so much different information. And in all of this information, you get lost because what one person says you surely should do, another person says you should not do. And so that makes it really difficult. It's the same with food. One person tells you eat balanced carb, protein, greens, all of that. Another one says, no, cut out carb completely, eat only protein. It's an error, it's a complete mistake if you eat carbs. Next says, don't animate your child, just leave your child alone, let them play freely, it will grow. But on the other side, someone says, you have to use the first 5 years of life. If you don't use them and make the best out of it, you're not growing the potential. So what is right? There is really a huge confusion in parents because of an overflow of information and because there's so much of different opinions. Different opinions are good, but parents need to settle down and start to be less confused. So that is really important, and this is something you really as a parent have to take care. You cannot be confused in that entire process, because in this process you need to guide your children. How can you guide your children if you're confused? And on the other hand, we have confused teachers. It's not just the parents. Confused teachers who don't know anymore what to follow. Like for example, in my time as an educationalist. So in the early 90s, we studied concepts with lesson plans, for example. So we had lesson plans for 20 minutes, 40 minutes. We did handcraft, we did reading, we did this and that. And then finally it's like, no, that's all nonsense. you can't do this anymore. You have to have the children only play. So, and the next one says, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. You know, you have to do projects for children to learn. Project-based learning. Next one says, oh, no, 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 you know, you can't do this. You're forcing the children in direction. You have to develop an alternative style of education. So there's so much going on. So we have confused teachers. And so that is something that really makes a huge problem. And that also creates a very competitive education. There's competition between parents. There's competition between schools. Parents' competition is more on, is my child already able to do this? Like, let's say I have a friend and she has an 18-month-old daughter and her daughter is not yet speaking. So everyone says, oh my God, your daughter is not yet speaking. My God, you have to do something. So does she have to do something? So she goes to the doctor. The doctor says, your child is absolutely okay. There's nothing to do. She just starts speaking at a later time. Yeah, children start speaking at different times. There's competition between parents, a lot of competition. What is my child able to do? What is your child able to do? There's competition between schools. I am having the best curriculum. I am having the best results at the end. When your child comes to my school, it surely will be able to go to the best colleges, all of that. There's so much competition. In schools, we have a second problem which confuses the teachers but also the parents a lot. We have constantly changing curriculums. So if you go to a school and you ask them for their curriculum, you have almost no school who has a curriculum since 5 years. The last 5 years have been like a marathon in education where curriculums were changing constantly, even sometimes in a 6-month period. And whenever there came another consultant or trainer in, again the curriculum changed, again something changed. So at the end of the day, teachers are confused. What shall we do? So wherever I go as a consultant, either for parents or for teachers, I'm experiencing confusion. I'm experiencing a high state of competition, which leads actually both to not build a basis for children to grow their self-esteem, to become strong, and to raise as full, matured human beings in this environment. So the price that we pay for focusing on all of this confusion and competition is way higher than we are even able to understand as of today. So we have the first results already from some countries. So I would like to share with you, for example, one of the psychologists in Germany. He wrote an amazing book. I'm sorry, it is really in German language. I don't know if it's available also in your language, but it actually is called, if I translate it, How Germany Turns Stupid. So that is how you would translate it. And that is exactly what it shows. So while children are growing during all of these years of development, a high intelligence. So we can see that the average intelligence of a person rises, the strongest in China and India, because there's so much potential now and so much possibilities. And those countries, they are also economically moving. So they are moving forward towards trying to become a power country in regard to economy, finances, trading, all of that. So people are highly motivated in this country to go forward and to learn and to study, and so the average intelligence rises faster in those countries than in others. But the emotional intelligence all over the world goes down, and that is something that we have to see. So let's see. When we look at the Flynn, this is a sheet where we have some kind of recordings of the intelligent IQ. And like, for example, now the average IQ of a person is about 130. This would have been in the year 1910 a standard which 98% of the people would not have reached. So you would have been an extraordinary person in the year 1910. An ordinary person of today would have been an extraordinary person at that time. So we can see the IQ rises by about 3 points every year. And so at the end of the day, that is what it means. So we could say, what is my favorite saying? We become smart just by living and going to school and studying. Just actually by our own. So whatever tools we have available, smartness is there. But then what about emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence goes down, and this is interesting because this German psychologist writes a book about 18-year-old, 20, 25-year-old students coming out of school, entering in their jobs and not being able to perform in their jobs, not intelligently. This is there, but emotional intelligence is not there. Their maturity on an emotional level is between 16 to 36-year-old child. So what does this mean? For example, a 16-month-old child, a baby, is lust oriented. So whatever it likes to do, it is doing. If it wants the cup, it takes the cup. 1 second later, it sees the phone. It wants the phone, it leaves the cup alone. 1 minute later, it sees the toy. That was a bad example because when it gets the phone, it wants the phone. The phone is very attractive to children, but please don't put it in the hand. I'm not speaking about this topic here. I'm speaking about this topic in another talk that I will give also in this channel for cost free for you. So what's happening in the next? It sees the doll, it wants the doll. Next, it sees something moving, it wants the moving thing. It hears the sound, it wants the thing with the sound. That is how it is. And interestingly, our 18, 20, 25-year-old young people are acting exactly like that. Isn't that surprising? Isn't that something we should worry about? Isn't that something that we should focus on? How do we want to sustain an economy if we just speak about business? How do we want to sustain an economy with people who only do what you want to do in this present moment? Then another huge problem is, I still will speak about that in a different video, so you better stay tuned on this YouTube channel because we are creating now every week a video for you and sending it out so that you have information, good information, solid information, and information that is broad on many different areas. So what is happening with the digital side? 30% of these young people entering in a job profile are not able to put their phones away to do the work. They are so addicted to the phone that they are not able to perform, because when the boss says put your phone away, they just can't do it. So that is something we really have to be careful about. What about social competence? The social competence in average decreases, especially in the developed countries. And of course in the developing countries, the social competence, the social skills always have been different, especially in those people who have not a very high education. So education has a positive effect on social skill development, but nowadays it's a little bit reversed. It does not have this positive impact anymore. So we could actually say social skills or social competence for a long time was given to children by parents, family, grandparents mainly. But now, because this is not happening anymore, social skills, social competence is not anymore role model to young people, so it also decreases. They are not really able to work in teams. How should they? You know, we create a competitive educational system where we want the children to compete from day one by giving them grades and by putting them on a schedule which they have to follow, and if they can't follow, they are just behind and no one really cares. And then we want them to take care for each other. No one cares for them, but we want them to care. It's just not possible. This is not how human beings learn. This is not how human beings are. So this is one of the big points we really have to focus on. I love this one. I saw this on Facebook about Joshua Bell. I don't know if you know about Joshua Bell. He's one of the most famous violinists. You can see here. He earns unbelievable amount of money with playing in the best theaters and on the best stages. He's earning so much money you can't imagine. And so this famous violinist made an experiment together, I think, with Washington News, and I would like to change now the screen so that I can show you that. So I'm sorry, I'm going to my screen, and please look. he made an experiment. In this experiment, he decided to play for cost-free. To play at the metro station. And now I would like you to just watch for a moment. I will not play the entire thing, yeah, but you can watch for a moment what's happening here. What you can see here is no one stops, no one cares. What it means, it's just not expensive enough. It's not expensive enough. The same person playing at the metro station and amazing music is getting zero attention. The same person giving a concert, people sign up, the halls are stuffed full, you can't imagine. So another situation that, for example, happened. This man, 80 years old man, broke down in a bank in Germany. He had a heart attack or something, and so he broke down. He actually died there. And 4 people came after he was laying there and stepped over the dead body, which was laying on the floor in a bank. No one cared. So what do we speak about? Yeah, those are maybe interesting cases. But it's happening every day in small areas and small fields. So social competence is not really here. So we have to help our young people, our growing up people, as teachers and as parents, to really become children and grown-ups who can cope with life, with situations, and who build up resilience. So that is something we really have to do something. We cannot prepare anyone for the future in regard to preparing them with trying to get the best education, the best of this, the best of that. No, you can't. It's very much depending where you are. If you, for example, in America, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. If you know how to work, if you know how to do business, you will be successful. If you're in Europe, everything is different. You might need a title. You might have to show your CV to just get into something. And it might be different in 20 years. So we cannot prepare for the future. The future is unknown and it will always be unknown. No one knew coronavirus will come. No one knew it, or not many people knew it. No one knew that the cell phones will be like computers as of today, 20 years ago. As I said already, no one knows. What we can do is we can build up children to be able to cope with any circumstances. It doesn't matter what comes. Not preparing them for more artificial intelligence or less artificial intelligence, but we can build up children in such a way that they are able to cope. So the key is to build up resilience, to make them strong, and that is what I will like to focus on. So what does resilience actually means? It's a word that we don't use so much. So in a very young time, back when you look about 100 years back, what resilience meant was you have some kind of material made of a substance, and you can shape it differently, or you can shape it back, for example. So it can be shaped, it can be changed in its shape. So that is what it meant. Nowadays, when we look to the Oxford dictionary, it still says also this explanation, but what we mean is that it shows also the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. This is really what resilience is about. Recover fast, get back on track, go on with life. Whatever happens, if you make a mistake, go on with life. If something doesn't go as you want it, go on with life. Try a different way. If a relationship doesn't work out, don't cling, don't hang on. try everything you cannot try, work around, all of that. So it also means, to, according to dictionary.com, the ability to recover readily from illness, depression, adversity, or the like by Yanzi. So what it also means is that when you feel in a state of emotional imbalance, like you're angry, you're frustrated, you are depressed, you are exhausted, body or emotion, recover, the ability to recover, the ability to live life and to go on with life. According to Cambridge Dictionary, resilience is the ability to be happy, successful, etc. Again, after something difficult or bad has happened. So it means no matter what happens, it does not necessarily influence your happiness, your success, your power of joy, your satisfaction. This is what resilience really means, because this is what is really important when it comes to life, private life, family life, business life. And so this is one of the important parts that we have to build. It's not the only one. It's just that in this talk, we'd like to focus on the topic on resilience. So resilience means also to know how to cope with unexpected situations. So there will always be unexpected situations, always. There is no day where there is not one unexpected situation. Let's say today your husband comes home and said, I'm sorry, I'm out of job. Unexpected situation. Or tomorrow the teacher calls and says, please pick up your child, it has measles. Unexpected situations. Next day your mother calls and said, please, I need you this evening. I know you wanted to go to the theater, but I'm having guests. Please, you need to help me to serve them. Unexpected situation. It doesn't matter if they're small or if they're big. It just means flexibility is needed to adjust to those kind of situations. We can prepare for a life that can cope with circumstances. So keeping children in a state of flexibility, helping them really to cope with circumstances and all of that, that is something that is very important. Resilience means also to be able to handle stress. So how do we handle stress? How do we help children to understand and handle stress? That is also very important. So for example, some children handle stress by movement. So they do sports, they move, they exercise. Other children might handle stress by painting. They can relax, they can maybe turn on music, they can calm down, they just paint, they just do without any competition, without any outcome, just do something. Other children might be able to handle stress by focusing, strong focus on the target. What is my outcome? What do I want to do? Other children may want to handle stress in a way that they are just satisfied with what they have, and so thereby stress goes down. Whatever it is, there are so many methodologies and techniques that we can give children how to handle stress, and stress might need to be handled different in different situations. To be brave, courageous and adaptable, that is also what it means. In resilience, it is adaptability is very, very important. Like if we would like the workplace to be as it was 20 years ago, of course it's nice because we do not have to change, we do not have to adapt, but it's just not happening. And the interesting part, it never happened before. It wasn't like that. There was always change, because as long as we are alive, we have to adapt and we have to change. Giving children a good understanding of courage, adaptability and braveness is really, really also important. Then also, resilience means to be able to handle one's emotions, my own disappointments, anger, frustrations. We have to look for methodologies how we can help children to handle that. We have to see how we can help children to mature emotionally ahead of early years, of age 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Yeah, they should not get stuck there as human beings. They should not get stuck in puberty. They should not get stuck in adolescence. They should move on. They should grow up. They should mature. They should become grown-ups. That is one of the big topics. Then also resilience means to have confidence and are secure in their opinions and doings. Children are secure in their opinions and doings. So I have an opinion and that's my opinion here. I say that. It's not like, oh, I can't do this video because it could be like this, it could be like that, it could be like this, it could be like that. No. You have to have an opinion. You have to be able to do things. You have to be able to make decisions. You have to have confidence. This is what we need to build up in the children. So resilience can be nurtured in children, and this is actually what our workshop would have been about on 6 March that we wanted to give in Delhi, which we also cancelled due to this hysteria and panic that came up with the coronavirus. So how to define a lack of resilience? So now many parents or teachers say, oh, I'm not sure if my child has resilience. Number one, always know resilience is something that's built up an entire life, not just in a child. You cannot force a 2-year-old to finish something that you want the child to finish. It's just not the age, it's not yet the developmental stage where the child is in to do that. It has to be done development sensitive. But what you can see is when children grow up, if they are unable to calm oneself. So in the first 2 to 3 years, children are not able to regulate their emotions on their own. You have to be there as a parent and as a teacher. But after that, slowly, you should have given them, the children, ideas, methods, tools and skills to calm themselves. And this is how you can see. If an 8 or 9-year-old is not able to calm themselves, they did not build up resilience in that area. Very often being in emotional turbulences. Yeah, so it's also like this, the younger child, the more normal it is that they are really in turbulences. But the older they grow, the more it is like this, that they are growing into becoming emotionally strong. They can handle themselves, they can balance themselves, they can cope with situations better. If your child at an age of 6, 7, 8, 12, 15, 18 is not able to do this, if they become very emotional, resilience is not there. Stopping in front of a problem. For example, you can see if a child simply stops, want to finish a puzzle, doesn't finish because one piece doesn't fit. It tries it one time, it immediately stops. Even a 2-year-old would try it another time if there is a sense of resilience. Yeah, it becomes stronger over the years. Don't push too hard, but just watch it and know that there is this inner motivation to complete something. If not, then that's a lack of resilience that we can see. Low self-esteem or poor self-concept. If a child does always believe, I cannot do this, I'm not worth this, I'm not the one who should do this, the others are all better than me, that means lack of resilience. Then, being afraid of new or unknown things is a lack of resilience. Normally, when a child grows up in this growing up process, it should be super curious. Yeah, it's okay to be a little scared. You know, sometimes when something new comes, first trip without mom and dad, it's okay to be afraid. But being really scared, very scared, that's not what a child would do. As long as it's in an age-appropriate, development-sensitive approach. So, of course, if you tell a 2-year-old child to go with strangers alone for 1 week without you, it should be scared to death. That would be normal. But an 8-year-old going with the schoolmates on a holiday trip where you discuss everything in the beginning and where there are teachers the child knows already since a long time, schoolmates, it is a little bit of something new that can scare a little bit, but it shouldn't be fully scary. Yeah. So then being afraid of mistakes, that is also something what children really should learn. Mistakes are awesome. There's nothing better than mistakes. So whenever you make mistakes, you grow because mistakes help you to grow. When you're afraid of mistakes, you try to avoid mistakes. When you try to avoid mistakes, you don't grow. You don't become internally strong. Internal strongness comes from all of the mistakes we made. What we can change is how we face mistakes. So this is what I want to give you as a parent and as a teacher today as a tool that we use in TLI pedagogics, in our TLI playgroups, in all of our TLI schools. It is the basis that if someone makes a mistake, it's not something bad. It is something good. Great. You made this mistake, but learn. Learn now out of your mistake and try to do it different so that you do not have to repeat this mistake. So then all mental, emotional power needs to go in trying to work that out. Always wanting things to be in the same way. We said that already, lack of resilience. So how do we raise resilience in children? Some tips here. So one is comfort should be given on children's need and not necessarily on their wants. Yeah. So we have needs and we have wants. Needs are the things children really need. They need a hug. They need care. They need food. They need clothing, of course. But then they are the wants. Mommy, I want this. Mommy, I want that. Daddy, I want this. Daddy, I want that. Daddy, I want this. You have to give it. Everyone has it. So be careful with that. So the comfort always should be there for the needs. A child should always feel need-based secure. All my needs are taken care. But in the wants, you might challenge your child a little bit and give them something to do for getting something for their wants. So help children understand risk management. For example, if you protect, let's start with a very little one. If you, for example, do not allow your child to jump from a chair to the floor, yeah, then okay, I understand if you don't let the child do this because the chair is not very stable. But if there is, I don't know, a small stone and the child is stepping on the stone, it's very stable and want to jump and you are afraid, you're scared. You actually avoid your child being able to learn risk management, because what it is happening is the more child experiences, the more child dares in small steps, the easier they will learn risk management. If you avoid all of the risks, you take all the risks, all of the danger, all of the possible hurts away from your child, and then your child at the age of 6, 7, 8 comes to a place and tries something, it doesn't know how much risk it can take. So it's really important that you allow your child to grow accordingly. Avoiding all risks actually robs kids from learning resiliency. Yeah, so that's also. Help children to learn how to solve problems. So it's not about having no problems. Problems are amazing. Problems are good. Problems challenge us. Problems help us grow. But help your child to learn how to solve it. You have to know how to solve it so that you can help your child how to solve it. This is what I meant. Teachers and parents cannot be confused. That's just not what can be. You have to make at a certain point a decision on how you want to raise your child, what kind of values you want to give your child, or as a teacher, what kind of system you're working in, what kind of value system you're working in, what kind of knowledge system you're working in, because you have to be sure and certain that what you do is the right thing to do. So stop early competition. That's also very important. We do not agree on competing children at age 2, 3 and 4, 5. So if you have two 2-year-old children, you compare them with each other. You have to maybe compete. See how well this child can sit already. See how well this child is eating with a spoon already. You also have to do this. You are taking the self-esteem down. The child cannot rise to its full potential. You have to increase self-performance. Okay? So the most important part is you are a role model. Your child will model everything. As a teacher, the child will role model everything you do. So that is the most important part. How are you solving problems? How are you taking risks? Do you like changes? Look at that and think about it. Okay, these are some of the ideas that I wanted to share in the talk with you. So as already said, we will do this cost-free talks now also online on our YouTube channel. So please stay tuned with us. Every week we will publish one of these talks so that you can really get content. What we want is we want you to help you as a parent and as a teacher to be really understandable in what you do and how you do it, so that your mind becomes clear and you get out of this confused state and you are able to really help your child to grow in a wonderful, amazing human being. This is what you want as a parent, and as a teacher you want to do the best for the child during the time when it's with you, so that later when you meet the child again at the age of 25 and he tells about its story, you can be proud. You know you did something for this child to reach this outcome. So this is something, some of the points we give you. In the future more is coming, so please do subscribe to the channel and watch out for our videos. If you subscribe, you get the notification every time we upload something. I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you so very much for your patience. Thank you that you have been staying with us on this online video. especially that we have not been there personally. It is a pity, but we will be there again in July. So all the best. See you soon.